Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. The midnight hour, the midnight hour, the midnight hour. Creatures crawl in search of blood to terrorize your neighborhood. And whosoever shall be found without the soul for getting down must stand and face the hounds of hell and rot inside a corpse's shell.
No power in the verse can stop me.
What's going on, guys? My name is Eldenero, and welcome to episode 27 of the Midnight Hour.
To be fair, it was pretty scary listening to you in my accent.
It's Halloween.
Yay!
Yay!
Welcome to the Midnight Hour. It's episode 27, and it's the Halloween edition. And me and Jack are really, really sick, so we hope that you fucking appreciate us doing this episode, because it's been really difficult. I'm joined by Jack, the Ripper Brown, and Aaron Noose Gore.
Ooh,
Yes.
That's nice.
Yeah,
That's
nice.
nice.
That is good, right?
That was good.
Considering you just came up with that was pretty impressive, yeah.
Yeah. So, we're just going to be talking about scary Halloween stuff. We wish the original Jack could have joined us for this, but sadly he's trick-or-treating.
He's dead.
Or is he?
He's not.
Yeah. Let's not do that anymore. It's actually really annoying to do when I just did it. Yeah, so it's Halloween right now. What are you guys doing? Are you trick-or-treating?
I'm like sticking my hand for a letterbox and just grabbing kids' arms as they reach me, telling them to knock on my door and they die.
Yeah.
That's more scary than whatever they're dressed as anyway. That's okay. Do you
Yeah.
ever go to Halloween parties and dress up?
I've got one to do on Saturday. And I'm not a fan of fancy dress.
I've gone to Halloween parties, but I've never dressed up. I used to dress up as a kid, but I've never been to a grown-up Halloween party and gone as anything.
Nah,
'Cause I'm-
neither have I.
Yeah, I've got my
About-
one on Saturday is compulsory, so like I have to be in fancy dress.
Alright. Or else
I
you
don't
want to.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I just wouldn't do it.
I think I'm
Go.
one of those people who would just, if forced to, I'd just stick a cereal box on my head or something, and just, I'm a serial killer or something, and just be like, fuck it, that's it.
God, that's terrible.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
I
but-
love it.
Yeah.
So, right, we have not really formatted this very well, but you're used to us being complete and utter fuck-ups at everything that we do. But if you guys appreciate this episode, leave a like on the video. That would be awesome. If we could reach 666 likes, that'd be scary, but we're not gonna, because nobody watches, like, not that many people watch. But in the spirit of Satan's birthday, which is what it is, I have a really scary story that... So, I'll just launch into it from here. There's this woman, and she's 41 years old at the time of this story, and her name is Colleen Burns. And she lived in New York and had an addiction to prescription medicine, and she overdosed on it. I think this was around the year 2009, maybe. But she was rushed to a hospital in New York and declared brain dead, and her family agreed to have her organs harvested. So as she was being wheeled into the operating room and they were about to start removing her organs, she opened her fucking eyes and was alive the whole time, and the hospital fucked up and they got fined $22,000, which is less money than Rio Ferdinand got fined for saying the word sket on Twitter. But still, that's pretty fucked up, right? Like, that's got to be up there in your top 10, potential worst fears that could happen to you type situation.
The whole buried alive thing is a very scary thought.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
I mean, I didn't used to go when I was on the beach when I was younger. I didn't used to build castles in case I got trapped underneath.
How big are these castles that you build?
Well, they're only little pots, but things happen.
You've seen the movie Tremors, you know what goes down underneath the sand. But
It's just like it's one of the ones, the ways you just don't want to die, isn't it? Buried alive.
definitely, yeah. But this is even worse because you're alive and getting your organs like ripped out of
Taken
you
out
with
of you.
scalpels and shit. Like,
Yeah, because obviously they're not going to put any pain relief on someone who's dead, are they?
I actually did read that they used anesthesia, which I find really odd. And I think maybe they did it because it must do something to the body to make it easier to extract organs or something.
Yeah, it might make some of the muscles looser and whatnot, and just the whole
Yeah.
body a bit more, a bit less tense.
But that's even worse but for the anesthesia not actually working as well.
Yeah,
Like, not only were they doing the wrong thing, but they didn't even apply the correct amount of anesthesia. Well, maybe they only needed a little amount, I guess.
yeah.
But that's so
I just like
fucked
the fact that it took place recently. This wasn't something that took place
Yeah.
sort of in like the 1800s. Where
Wait,
like,
this was
well, she
recently?
looks dead. She's probably dead.
It was in the
Um,
last few years. Like, the thing
yeah.
about the buried alive one is it's true that a lot of grave sites in real life have a bell on them so that if the person wakes up in the coffin, they can ring the bell. And the reason that that's there is because there were so many people. Like, 100 years ago, like, you know, people were getting buried alive with, not regularly, but, you know, more often than should happen. But like this was in the last 10 years, I think. I don't know. I can't remember the exact date, but this was a recent thing. And
Yeah, I've just. Do you know the ending of the story, which is quite sad?
did she end up just killing herself anyway?
She did, yeah.
Yeah, I did. I read that in a different
Why'd
article.
you do that?
Well, she was depressed, Jack, and depression does to the mind what cancer does to the body.
I imagine the taking out of her organs, and then waking up to see that happen probably didn't help with the old depression
Right.
thing.
Well, the
Come on,
reason
then.
she was there in the first place was because she overdosed on prescription medication anyway, so she was obviously
She's
in a
trying to
bad
kill herself
place.
anyway.
Yeah, but it's really like it's fucking tragic. Like that whole side of it is tragic, but the you know, organ removing while alive thing is just
Yeah, it's not great, is it?
Scary, yeah.
deeply unsettling. I don't like it. There's a movie based about that called The Eye or something, but I've never seen it, so it's probably garbage anyway. I think Jessica Alba is in it or someone.
I think that's the nightmare, isn't it? Like having your organs removed while you're still alive. That's like the horror movie cliche thing, isn't it? They
yeah,
always
it
sort-
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fucked up. But do you have you've got a scary story, don't you? That's real.
Yeah, I've got the an unsolved disappearance that no one's ever explained.
Go for it.
It's the disappearance of a guy called Zeb Quinn, who was 18, and he was meeting his friend when he received a message, like that's a thing now.
Yeah.
He then rushed to a payphone, then came back, said to his friend that he had to leave, and then the very next day he called in sick to work, but his supervisor at work didn't believe it was him. Then they traced the call, his work traced the call to his friend who he was meeting, which is weird.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
suspect.
And then at the time, it's believed that this Zeb is in a relationship with a woman called Misty, and the page that he received, it's believed, came from, or it was being sent from his aunt, who at the time was with Misty.
I'm confused, by the way.
I'm not.
I am.
Right.
What do you need us to backtrack on, Jack?
I'll catch up. Just listening.
Basically, he's in a relationship with a woman, and the phone records of the page that he received before he vanished, he went away, came from his aunt, even though it's claimed in the documents that she wasn't there at home at all, but
Right.
that she was in fact with this Misty girl who he was in a relationship with.
Right.
Yeah. And then,
Do continue.
to sort of round it all off, his car is discovered, the one that he went to see his mate with initially, his car is discovered in a parking lot with a pair of lips on it.
What,
and
actual
two
human
expl-
lips?
No. They were. I think it was like with lipstick. They were put
Yeah.
onto the back
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
window.
Yeah. And then a number of items were found in the car. Not he wasn't in the car, but there was a jacket, a hotel room key, and a Labrador.
Yeah, was it like a
Oh.
3-month-old Labrador or
Yeah,
something?
a puppy. Yeah, and then he's never been ever seen again.
So Misty was a witch and turned him into a dog.
Dog. Yeah, that's
'Cause where did the dog come from in this story?
nowhere.
Yeah,
It's just a random addition to the story, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
it doesn't make sense because, like, I think I read something about this case that Misty had a violent ex-boyfriend,
Yeah.
or something like that. She was a victim of domestic abuse or something. So the believed theory is that he caught up with Zeb and killed him and disposed of him and never got caught. But the friend that he was meeting up with refused to cooperate with the police. Isn't that right?
Yeah,
that what
but it also it's weird that he then rang in sick as his mate who disappeared. Why would he do that?
Yeah.
You know, pretend to be his mate. It just doesn't make any sense. Like it's just one of the weirdest things I've ever read.
Yeah, it's fucked up. Like, the dude has vanished and no one's ever seen him before, and that's really, really weird. And when did this happen?
Like 10 years ago.
Yeah, so that's, well, yeah, when pagers were a thing. But
Yeah.
it's I don't know. I don't like stories about people going missing because it's kind of scary how often it happens. When people go missing and they never recover a body. But when you get to read the case files and what actually went down and stuff, it's always just deeply unsettling that it can happen.
It's always like the best friend or the maybe the girlfriend or the creepy aunt,
Yeah.
which is all the things in this one.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I always blame the Labrador.
Yeah, I've always
Yeah.
just thought that if I went missing, like, I'd be tracked somehow. There's no way I wouldn't be found, kind of thing.
You'd think in modern times with phones and stuff like that.
I mean, I've got my phone on me all the time. That's got a tracking thing on it. I just think I'd always be found.
I think, how people think that about everything. Like, you think that the world is really safe in that sense because you automatically think of like alternative plans and backup plans and solutions to stuff like that in your head when you do it.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a mistake. I think you should be cautious or you should be prepared. And I think that part of the brain that makes you think like, oh, well, in this day and age I couldn't go missing. I guarantee you the people who believe in conspiracy theories are the same people who have that amplified because they want to believe the world is safer than it actually is. So that, a bad thing couldn't possibly happen. The government must be involved. How else could this happen? My world is so safe. You can't make my world unsafe. So I think stuff like that. I think that's what it is.
There's always another, it won't ever happen to me anyway, so that's cool.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
like, statistically, that is 100% true, yeah.
Yeah.
But that just depends on how
I
much
think if someone took me, they'd just be so pissed off of me after about 4 hours. Just kick me out.
Which is why they would kill you instantly.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a chance.
Sometimes when we're in the pub, I just want to kill you instantly. I think that's how you're gonna go, Jack.
Maybe the fact is that you won't ever go missing because we'll just own up to it. We'll just be like,
Yeah.
I fucking killed him. Yeah.
I killed him. I'll have it, yeah. Or I can always hear me, so I'll never go missing.
Yeah, that is our downfall as a society. So I've got another story. This is one about a woman called Rochelle. Is that how you pronounce that name? Rochelle?
Rochelle.
What's the letter after the R?
Oh.
Rochelle, yeah.
Yeah.
Rochelle.
Yeah, Rochelle. Well, if it was like a D, what would you have said?
Well, the D is silent. We all know that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the D is silent.
Yeah, that was a stupid comment.
So Rochelle Harris is a British woman, and she was on holiday in Peru. I don't know why, right?
Why would you go on holiday to Peru?
Peru is
You've
creepy
been
to
to
start
Kenya,
with, isn't it?
so why did you go on holiday there?
Monkeys and stuff.
Okay, so I have the year 2009 stuck in my head. I don't know why. I think I'm just going to apply that year to everything that's ever happened. So
Yeah.
we'll say it was the year 2009. It was sometime in the 2000s. I'm fairly sure of that. So This woman, Rochelle, went on holiday to Peru. She was probably on some excursion. Maybe she was backpacking. Maybe she just wanted to see the world, whatever. That's for all of you people who are really pedantic and want to know the reasoning behind everything that everybody does, like Jack. But she came back to Britain and had like a weird scratching noise in her head. And she didn't think anything of it. And she continued living her life. Because, like, I get a crackling in my ears pretty regularly when I have, you know, my sinuses is fucking up, or I've got a blocked head or whatever. Like, I hear weird noises like that, so yeah. I understand letting it go. I've had a lot of things in my life that I haven't gone to the doctor about that have just magically disappeared. But eventually the scratching noise got louder and louder, and she started getting headaches and a pain in the side of her face. And one day she woke up with fluids being leaked onto her pillow from her ear while she slept. And then one day a fly flew out of her fucking ear. And she went to the doctor, who discovered that there was a family of maggots living deep inside of her ear canal.
As long as it's a family and not just like 12 strangers, I'm happy with the fact that it's family.
I've heard stories like this before, that it's like there's like an insect or something that plants, or a bee or something bites something and plants its whatever into the animal, that then bites a human and it gets put into the human, and so the whatever in there is sort of growing. It's obviously like a fetus or whatever is growing, and then when it is born, it just starts eating the flesh and stuff like that, and when it's ready, it just sort of bites its way out and just flies off.
Fucking
and
hell.
The thought of that, I can't remember hear it. There's like people that have been kept awake at night just on the sound of something eating quite near their ear, just eating the flesh near their ear.
Yeah, they I've just read a bit about this. They chewed a 12mm hole in her ear canal.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean that's only a centimetre, but that's that's ridiculous. Yeah,
it's a centimetre too big, like.
Yeah, it's a centimetre that shouldn't have been there. Yeah,
I'd rather 0mm, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, to be fair, I'd rather not go to Peru. Just, you know.
Well, like, you know what's really fucked about that is that even when it's all done and everything, like, you'd feel so insecure and like uncomfortable about everything forever.
I don't think you'd ever want to go outside again, would you?
Nah, it's so fucked. Like,
I'd never. The whole insect world would be dead to me. I would never go near one.
Yeah.
By choice.
Because you always hear like fucked up stories about stuff, like people who bought bananas from Tesco and they come with a Brazilian wandering spider in the.
Yeah.
I always wonder how that's happened once, probably, and it's just been taken all out of fucking.
No, I think it's probably happened in the last 30 years. It's probably happened like 3 or 4 times. But the fact is, it gets reported massively by every news outlet.
Yeah, it's such a massive thing, isn't it?
It happens a couple of times a year, legitimately.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, they're just the spiders get.
It probably doesn't get shown too much.
No, the spiders get intercepted by the people at customs because they've got no boarding pass. No, the spiders do get caught a lot of the times, but it is a really common thing. It happened in Essex actually, Jack, like a couple of months ago.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so I'll just look around your room right now if you can see a spider.
Like, I'm looking at a spider right now, but it doesn't look like a Brazilian wandering one. It just looks like a leggy cunt.
I read an article on it was a tabloid. I'm not gonna lie. And it said at the end of it happened. No, it wasn't the Sun. It was one that was even worse than that, if that's possible.
The
Mirror.
No, because the only one worse is the Daily Mail.
The Sun on Sunday.
It doesn't matter. It was a fucking tabloid. Jesus. But yeah, so it said in that it happens like it said in that it happens like 6 or 7 times a year or whatever. So what I've done there is I've taken the tabloid figure and I've cut it in. I've made a quarter out of it because that's probably the actual truth. But yeah, it happens at least once a year because there's a story about it once a year that you can always see. Like, it's always on Facebook or whatever, and you just check the date on it. Oftentimes people link like really old ones as well. But like, that's fair enough because we're talking about old cases here that were news headlines at some point. I
mean, there's always with the things like spiders and bananas. There's always a danger it's going to happen because that's where it comes from and that's what happens. So like, it's not as if like people didn't go mad at someone just because one spider came over or something.
No,
it's like not. The one spider hidden in one box of the thousands that are transferred a day, and everyone goes mental about it.
Serves you right for importing bananas. Buy British.
Serves you right for eating bananas. They're shit.
Yeah, they are awful. I'm not a fan of them at all. That's a scary Halloween situation for me, is just having to eat a banana.
Banana, yeah. God.
They're not
Dip-
one of the best fruits, are they?
Pumpkins are horrible as well.
Yeah, I
Have you
took
ever eaten
some
one?
the other day at work.
Have you ever eaten a pumpkin?
I've never eaten any fruit. And by that I mean vegetable. What's a pumpkin? It's a vegetable, right?
I thought it was just something that people had at Halloween.
Yeah,
It's a food.
it's a vegetable. It grows in the river. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It grows in fields, right? Pumpkin patches.
How many people have pumpkin patches? How many people have a farm that does solely in pumpkins?
Well,
They
like
must
Russell
sell
Crowe
that.
has a beet farm.
Oh yeah, they must sell like one a month. When it comes
He
to
does have
October,
a
they sell
big farm.
thousands.
Yeah, I'd say Halloween is probably pumpkin season. What are we talking about here? How did this happen?
I don't know.
It's the Halloween episode.
Ooh, we went on to a different conversation.
Apparently, a pumpkin is essentially a squash plant.
Right.
So,
I like that we try getting off the topic, and then Loosemore just comes back in with a fact.
You gotta
Well-
love Loosemore sometimes.
and these are all true. Again, I got this off Russell Crowe's IMDb page.
Imagine like Russell Crowe's IMDb page, just like full of facts about random things. Like,
Yeah, it's a fascinating IMDb page. You should all go to it.
did you know?
It's www.imdb.russellcrowe.com.
Like, fun fact about Russell Crowe. Did you know that the human heart can make blood squirt 16 miles because its muscle is so strong, and yeah, crazy stuff like that. Yeah.
Is that true?
No, 16 feet is what I meant to say, but I got carried
Oh.
away. Yeah, it's something like one of the AR. I don't know. It's a pump, isn't it? It can pump blood up
Yeah.
to 16 feet away. So
That's actually not as far as I thought it would be able to do it, considering it is like, it is essentially a pump. I mean, if you squeeze a heart, you would think it would go quite far.
I don't know. I don't really want to squeeze hearts. I'll leave that for the organ harvesters from the first story to do. Seems to be what they're into.
I'd do
The
that.
Heart Squeezers would be a great band name.
Ooh.
I don't think it would.
Russell
Tom
Crowe.
Petty and the Heart Squeezers.
Yeah, nice. Oh, sorry, yeah, so, yeah.
Do you have
Go on,
another
Jack.
scary story?
I probably should clarify at this point to the to the listeners that I have done nothing toward this. By the way, I haven't got any stories, which is why when they go back and forth between themselves, just going, "Have you got one? Oh yeah, have you got one?" I have nothing.
Tell you what, Jack. Shall I link
I
you
don't want-
a page,
Yeah,
and then
you do.
you can
You do.
just...
You do it.
You want me to do it?
You do it. Pretend I'm
Well, I just... What?
pretend I'm talking.
Right, I'll do it in your voice. Yeah.
Blimey! Got a fucking Halloween
Fucking
story
hell.
for you, love.
Blimey, woman goes missing, dead. What happened?
Find out next week. The latest odds are on your screen now. Anyway, let's more continue.
There was a guy, a French guy who lived in the 1800s, and he had a rare disease that he had the appetite at all times, he could never get full, apparently, according to this.
She's always hungry.
Which is, the internet is full of interesting
I've
stuff.
been there.
And he ate live cats, a whole eel, and apparently human corpses,
Eh.
because he could never get full. So basically, he ate through everything he could think of, in the hope that he'd hit upon something that would make him full.
Was that his motivation?
I don't really know. I guess so. I mean, why else? Why start off be like, I mean, once you discover that you can never get full, presumably you just eat your normal stuff, and then you realise, oh, this roast dinner's not made me full. I'm gonna go on to like cats. I don't know where's the step? Where's the
I don't know how much I believe about that story, because the human body can only withstand so much before, it's not like the food is just gonna drip down into your legs and start filling up your body like that. Is it real? I mean, I can see the Wikipedia page is very, very thorough, and it would suggest that he is indeed a real person. And
Yeah.
in fact, he basically was a real person. But that's
Yeah.
fucked up. Like, you don't just do that. Like, that's not how you. That's what dogs do. They just eat and eat and eat till they get sick. So this dude must have gotten really, really sick, obviously.
You would think, yeah.
They have like records of his autopsy on Wikipedia, and when his esophagus was abnormally wide, which is obviously going to happen when you eat cats and people.
Yeah.
And when his jaws were opened, they could see down his esophagus into his stomach,
Fucking hell.
and his body was filled with pus. His liver and gallbladder were really large, and his stomach was covered in ulcers, and that's what filled most of his stomach was ulcers. I find that fucked up.
Yeah, that is fucked up. Have you seen the before the death part on Wikipedia? It says, after some time, a 14-year-old child disappeared from the hospital that he was at, the mental hospital or whatever, and this guy was suspected, and they chased him from the hospital, and they never found him. And it's just like he ate a 14-year-old child. That doesn't.
Yeah. It's one of the things we'll never understand, the psychology that goes through that, will we?
I think
why people do that.
looking at this, it's slightly more suspicious because it's like 1772 and it's in France, so it's
Yeah.
like 300 years ago.
And
You know, so it's always a
also,
bit.
like, yeah, and it's been translated from another language too. And there's
Yeah.
another thing here that says when the dude died, nobody in the hospital would dissect it and do a proper autopsy. So this guy
Yeah.
called Tessier did one, but he didn't even do a proper one. And then eventually he got to cut the dude's stomach open to search for a gold fork that he ate, which was never found. So that,
Yeah.
you know, it's...
So it's one of those myths that I think will just be, you know.
Yeah, I reckon, like, I mean, he was probably a fucked up dude, but people often apply greater sort
Horrible
of
shit.
infamy to
Yeah.
people who do scary stuff.
Yeah,
I
he's
don't know.
probably not done half the things that people suspect him of, but because he did one or two things that were weird and fucked up, everything else got put on him. Like, yeah, a child disappeared. He ate the child. No, he didn't. He probably didn't eat the child.
Did you ever hear of this guy before?
No, I've only just reading about it just now. Yeah,
Yeah, me too, because that's weird. Like, this is something I should have seen on a documentary, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's weird to
Yeah.
me that this has just come to my attention now.
this exists in the world, and it's so weird and creepy. I would have looked it up before. Yeah,
I would have found it while, like, researching stuff for a previous episode of the Midnight Hour, like, but there's nothing here, and that's really weird. I don't know. Like,
that is weird.
at the age of 17, he weighed 100 pounds. So how much could he have? Like, how much could he be eating all the time? Like, what happens here?
I mean, I've got a good metabolism. I mean, but this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like,
I want to know what Jack thinks.
What about this bloke eating cats and stuff?
Yeah.
Well, you know I don't. You know I love cats. I'm more worried about the cats than any one person, really. He could eat any humans he wants, but it's the cat he wants. Because the cat sort of... I don't know, in what kind of situation was he eating, like, humans, though? Was it to eat... Did he eat humans?
Well...
apparently later on, but it's like he eventually became like a street performer sort of type person where he'd like eat stuff on the and as a show almost.
See, this is... Obviously, yeah, this is... I don't know. It's not like nowadays where it's just... That obviously wouldn't happen. You wouldn't just go and see someone on the street just eating a half a cat or something.
It's probably not. Like, you know Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, if I say that name to you, you immediately think of a cannibal, but he never actually ate any human before.
Yeah. How do we know this guy isn't like a great illusionist?
How do we know he's not a great guy?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah, he could have been a stand-up fella. Yeah.
Yeah, he
I
could
mean,
have been
just-
like the greatest guy in the world, and here we are, like, ruining his legacy. But
Yeah.
there was another thing I wanted to talk about that I saw on Wikipedia and on BuzzFeed, which is called locked-in syndrome. And I've actually looked at this like a lot before because there's a Metallica song called One, which is really famous, and in the video for it, it's like from an old war movie, and there's a guy lying in a hospital bed, and he can't speak or move at all, so he's locked in his body. He's got locked in syndrome, and the only thing he can hear essentially are his thoughts. Like, he's 100% conscious, but he can't do anything. And in the video, I think he does Morse code or something, and he just writes "kill me, kill me, kill me, kill me, kill me" on it, which is really fucked up. But yeah, so locked in syndrome is this. It's a condition where you're essentially quadriplegic, but you're also unable to speak, and you're kind of trapped in like sleep paralysis often as well. So your entire cognition is flawed.
Yeah, it's not like other brain dead type things, is it?
No, it's the opposite.
It's yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're trapped.
It's like a physical vegetative state rather than a brain vegetative state.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
That's up there.
Thing is, that's horrible, because at least if your brain, like, in a vegetative brain state, then there is no thought behind it, is there? There is no.
No, you don't know you're there.
Yeah, there's nothing like that. But being in a physical way, because your brain's still working, you know what you're going through, and you feel everything that you're going through, sort of thing. That's horrible.
That must be fucking awful. Yeah.
See, like,
but, I mean, isn't that? It's like being a zombie, I guess. Well, not really, I guess, but.
No, yeah, I was trying to come up with an analogy as well when I was explaining it, and I just kept stumbling. I was like, it's like this. No, it's, I don't know. It's like being awake but dead. Like, yeah, that's kind of what it's like. But except the thing about it is, like, we spoke about being buried alive and being operated on while conscious, and how terrifying that must be. But the thing about those is that there is an end to it. If you're buried alive, you've got about 45 minutes before you die anyway, from lack of oxygen. When you're 6 foot under and all of that, and with the having your organs harvested while you're awake, it's terrifying, it's painful, but you're gonna die, so it will end at some point. But with this, you're awake, and in all likelihood being kept awake by those around you, and you're not able to communicate with them. That's.
Oh.
I just would rather death, in all honesty.
I'd honestly, there is a lot of debate about, like, sort of euthanizing people, euthanasia, and if I was in that kind of state where I had, I was of like, I had a good mind, like, I just couldn't. It's like the locked-in syndrome. Like, I had a brain, so I knew what was going on. I'd just say I am of sound conscience.
It's a big hypothetical there.
Yeah, that's brilliant. You're a comedian, well done. It's not fun when someone's abusing you. Like, I love taking the piss out of people, but
I know, yeah.
I know what people go through when they talk to me now.
Sometimes when I'm editing the Midnight Hour and I hear how you react to being abused, I'm like, well, I kind of almost feel bad, but then I remember all the horrible things you say to me on a daily basis, and I'm like, did some good job there.
It's pretty fair between us, though. No, I'm quite harsh, actually.
No, we do exist in a situation that involves mutual hatred, I think, back and forth.
Yeah.
Speaking of euthanasia,
I think that's the best kind of right. But go on.
Well, no bad conversation has ever started with. Speaking of
euthanasia. Euthanasia or
Asian youths. Just think Asian youth.
Yeah. They've got to be in Asia.
From the BuzzFeed article where I got locked-in syndrome from, even though, look, I knew about locked-in syndrome before BuzzFeed. I don't steal from BuzzFeed. They're the thieves. I just take the information from the thieves. There's a
You're like a regular internet Robin Hood.
I am like Robin Hood, yeah. So there's a thing called the euthanasia coaster, which is a concept, a gigantic roller coaster that kills you because it's so high up. Like, when you go down, you just die. I think, is it like the G4? No, terminal velocity.
The beta velocity one, yeah.
Yeah, so it just, it stops you from being able to live and breathe, and I don't know specifically how it works, in all honesty, but this is being proposed by a dude who is a PhD at the Royal College of Art in London, which sounded impressive until I said College of Art, but nah, in all seriousness, this is what do you guys think about this? Do you think it should exist? Like, if we were going all out and we said, like, yeah, euthanasia is legal, and acceptable in every country in the world, would you want?
I
the
don't
roller
think
coaster?
this is the right way to go about it.
Really.
Well, what are we saying? These people want to die, and we're giving them like an amazing roller coaster ride to go out on. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
Maybe
But they don't
like,
want
at
an
the last
amazing
minute.
roller coaster ride to go out. They just want a peaceful transition.
It's going to be optional, Loosmore. It's not going to be mandatory like they do.
Like, imagine that someone's really
This isn't
depressed.
the only option of
No. There are other ways of euthanizing people.
Someone's really depressed. They decide they want to kill themselves, like euthanasia. They go, right, you got to go into this roller coaster. It will kill you. Halfway through, they're really fucking enjoying it. They go, actually, life is worth living.
Yeah.
Too late, they're dead.
But that's not.
Yeah,
what
actually, take me to Thorpe Park.
No, you don't
Actually-
euthanize depressed people. Like, you. Come on.
Yeah, no, but yeah, it's well, I suppose it's
People in a vegetative state, ultimately, isn't it?
or
What we just-
who will soon be, people whose lives are about to get really kind of bad and stuff.
Is
Yeah.
someone who is in a is someone who's if someone's depressed, are they of sound mind?
No,
Cyber
if you're
kill
depressed,
themselves?
you can't be euthanized, in my opinion.
That's a mental
because-
fault, isn't it? That's just your mentality, isn't it?
Well, it's a chemical imbalance, which I think automatically takes you out of sound mind, because depressed people want to end their lives, and that's not a rational thought. Whereas if you know that the quality of your life is about to get significantly worse to the point where it harms you and those around you, and you don't want to be in that, I think that's sound mind. So.
You
There's a-
should
there's a
be, the opposite of depressed when you come to the decision of euthanasia.
Exactly,
there's a big
Yeah.
difference between being of sound mind and being a vegetative fucking state, isn't there?
Mhm.
There's no link between the two, really.
No, not at all. So, on the Wikipedia page for the euthanasia coaster, it says duration 3 minutes and 20 seconds. So you could even fit you could go out to like "Rollin' by Limp Bizkit or another song if you like.
To be honest, this is like a great way of doing it. But I just don't agree with it. Like, I don't know why we've got to have a massive fucking roller coaster to do it. You know.
What about capital punishment?
Are we gonna do that?
it
There's no situation where capital punishment should be applicable.
No, I just think who is the state to take someone's life?
Exactly, yeah. And everyone, it's always the exact same debate.
It's always some argument. Oh, he killed him, or he raped. He killed so and so, or he raped so and so.
Well, it's the old eye for an eye thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's such a bad thing.
Here's what people have to understand about the death penalty and the way you go about arguing for it. If your first response is to say to somebody who doesn't want the death penalty, if your first response is to say, well, how would you like it if it was your family being killed or raped or whatever, that is just...
It would be more punishment. It would be more satisfying if I knew that he'd rot in prison for the rest of his life, rather than
but the thing
easy
is,
way out.
if you say, how would you feel if it's you, what you're doing there is you're putting your own emotions on it. You're making it personal to you. The whole point about a society is that it isn't personal. It's societal issues. It's not personal problems that you address in a society. It's the problems of the society itself, and it's what's best for the society, and it's what's best for whatever. Not that the victims don't have rights or whatever. It's just that the state and the victims themselves don't get to decide the fate of somebody else. If you kill someone and that's because they kill somebody else, that's doesn't make you any better than them. It's regressive. It's not,
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it though, because I just don't want to read the comment section after.
It's like, the whole killing someone and the capital punishment is like you're going down to their level, aren't you? By killing them.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
And it's not a deterrent as well. So what is the point? It costs more money to kill someone than it does to keep them in prison for their entire life. There's no logical reason.
And it's
for
definitely
it.
the bigger punishment is to be kept in prison as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely is. Definitely the biggest punishment.
Yeah, and it's a punishment born out of revenge, and revenge is just not the way that You're not Arnold Schwarzenegger, your family hasn't been killed while you're on your last day as a cop and you're about to go rogue and throw the rule book out the window. That's not what life is. So, whatever.
Probably wouldn't happen if we had one day a year like the Purge.
Oh, I watched the Purge Anarchy the other night.
Yeah, what do you think?
It was alright. I mean, I learned nothing.
You're not meant to learn things, I don't think.
Nah, I mean, it was very standard. Like, there was nothing really that stood out and was awesome about it. You know, like, there was no cool moment where I was like, oh, that was sick. Like, it was just, alright.
Yeah.
I like the masks. Those are badass. I like the idea behind it. And as much as I like the idea, it is an idiotic concept, isn't
It is
it?
the worst concept of all time. That would
Yeah.
never work. People don't commit crimes just so they can commit a crime.
I
and
know,
they
yeah.
commit a crime. They commit crime on the whole because they need something.
Exactly.
They're not just because they can do it once a year. It's not going to feed their family for the rest of the year.
Nah. If you want to address crime, you improve poverty and education, and both of those things being increased on the whole will lead to a reduction in crime on the whole. That is.
You
just-
don't, if you're David Cameron, say, right, everyone go mental for a day. We'll turn off all the cameras and we'll pretend it didn't happen.
To be fair, that would cause a massive stir.
Yeah. If he had a button that could turn off all the cameras, that'd be amazing. I don't know how he'd do it.
Just in the Parliament, I think. Just
A button in the Parliament, yeah.
a button.
Yeah. On the wall, there's one button for like nukes, one button for turning off cameras.
Dominoes or something.
Yeah, and then
Dominoes,
the dominoes button, yeah. Yeah.
And there's the tube line underneath that V is going to use to blow up the Houses of Parliament.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing on the 5th of November? I think we should all watch V for Vendetta.
Yeah, we could do that.
When is 5th? It's like next Wednesday, isn't
I
it?
think it's a Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah. Nah.
There's not many Guy Fawkes movies, is there? Like actual
Well, that's
based. I know it's not based on the actual. Like, it's essentially the idea of it, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Hey, can I ask you guys a question? Because, like,
No, I don't.
as an
No.
Irishman, right, this is weird to me. But you know how on the 5th of November every year, you guys in England burn effigies of Guy Fawkes and then light up fireworks? That
Yeah.
seems really fucked up to me.
Yeah.
Is that like, like, you know, what the fuck? If
It's
it was,
another thing that's got lost in translation, though. It's kind of it's a tradition now rather than such a slight against him.
can you imagine if it was people with brown skin burning effigies of somebody in a desert? Like, can you imagine how much of a field day the Daily Mail would have with that?
Yeah,
Like,
but they're
it
not
would
doing
be-
it with fireworks, are they? Like fun sparklers.
No, but I'm saying
They're
hypothetically.
not selling tickets to the event, so yeah.
No, like,
Yes, we have fun sparklers, and everyone
Yeah,
like has a
they
good
don't have
time.
sparklers and stuff. I don't
Yeah.
think. Yeah, you're missing the point there, Will.
No,
Yeah.
I think you guys are missing what I was trying to say. In all honesty, I think that's what happened here. But
They
Yeah.
don't have a sick fire.
Guy Fawkes Night is fucked up to me. I just think it's really, really weird.
It's
He
not
tried to
Irish
blow up
celebration,
Parliament,
Yeah.
so
He tried to blow up Parliament, and does anybody have a problem with that? Does anybody really think that's a bad thing?
It's like, is it glorifying him? Is it?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I glorify him a lot and all that.
I think the thing is the fact that we remember his name for so long has kind of glorified the fact that this guy.
He's probably
Actually,
got what he wanted.
Yeah.
He's known
Yeah.
the world, not the world over maybe,
No, he
but
didn't get what he wanted. What he wanted
No,
was to
in a
blow
way.
up Parliament and get more rights for Catholics in England at the time.
Yeah, but we know,
he wanted
he's
the-
associated with fun times now, isn't he?
He wanted the press.
He wanted, yeah. He wanted the press. Yeah.
He wanted a column in the Mail every Wednesday.
Yeah.
Somehow, I don't think that's what he wanted. Poor Guy Fawkes.
The religion column.
But yeah, so V for Vendetta on the 5th. That's what I'm going to be doing that night, and I think bonfire night is really fucking weird. Like, we just like bonfires on Halloween here, so.
Oh, you could just combine the two.
Yeah, well, we don't need to burn effigies of Guy Fawkes because, in all honesty, at that time in the world when he did that, he would have been doing us a massive favor over here. So,
You could just pick your own Guy Fawkes and just like a different guy, you know.
yeah, I'm gonna burn effigies of Macklemore out in my front garden.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get his album and put it in my microwave.
See, the problem is, I think because he's still alive, it's probably a hate crime. The fact that Guy Fawkes died like 300 years ago probably helps you know.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Speaking of movies, what's our favourite like horror movies and franchises and stuff?
When I went to see Gone Girl recently, right? And I don't want to talk about that movie, but I went to see it with two of my mates, and
Yeah.
on the car on the way on the car. Yeah, we were on top of the car driving in. It was really weird.
Sure. Yeah. This is the Halloween episode, so. Yeah.
One of my mates said like, "Oh, do you want to go see Annabelle?" And I was like, let me run down Annabelle. What's going to happen in Annabelle? There's a creepy little possessed toy.
Child.
Yeah, child. Maybe it's a toy. I don't know what it is. But there's some spirit. They call in an exorcist or the Ghostbusters or whoever it is.
Yeah.
They try and do something. Shit goes down. There's a lot of jumpy scenes. There's a lot of demonic music. There's a lot of like piano sort of weird church music and all of that going on.
Creepy shadow work.
Yeah. All of that stuff. All of the horror movie tropes get exhibited in front of you, and at the end you aren't sure if the demon has actually left or not, so it does set it up for a sequel, but it seems as though everything is calm, and like all the horror movies are the same. That might not be specifically how Annabelle goes, but I'm pretty sure it's something along those lines. I bet The Conjuring is the same.
Yeah, there's probably a scene with a swing, like there's a swing swinging in a garden, there's some creepy music, and then credits. That's how it ends.
The Others was a decent enough movie at the time. It was like
I haven't seen it.
It's like the. I'm not going to say what I was going to say then, because I'll ruin the whole twist. But I don't know. Horror movies are kind of lame and really try hard, and they've just been done so many times now that I don't really have one.
I don't enjoy horror movies. It's not because I get scared. It's just because I don't think they're that great. I don't watch a film to be scared. Being scared is not a form of entertainment for me.
I don't know. I just think that the genre itself, like even you say that, like I won't watch I like action movies, but I won't watch bad action movies really, unless they're so bad that they become entertaining. It's the same as I'll watch a good horror movie if everyone says it's good, I'll watch it. But then if they're just like your regular shitty horror movies that they churn out every year, I just won't bother with them.
I'll tell you what movie legitimately had an effect on my psyche was The Strangers. Do you guys remember that movie? I think it came out in like 2008, maybe?
Yeah, I remember it.
Maybe, yeah.
It's not a horror. Like, there's no supernatural, paranormal bullshit in it. But it's just these three people break into a couple's house that's in the middle of nowhere and try and kill them, and they've all got masks on, and they just kind of terrorize them for the night, and that's the whole plot of the movie, and it's fucking terrifying. It doesn't really use the whole well, no, some of the scare tactics in it are the same tropes, but I think what makes it really effective, like there's one scene that jumped out at me, and it's in the trailer for it, so this isn't a spoiler. But it's Liv Tyler. She's the one. She's the one from Armageddon, isn't she?
The daughter of
Yeah, Steven Tyler.
Yeah.
So she's in her kitchen, and like the movie starts off with her and her boyfriend, and they have like a fight, and it's really like intense, and there's quite clearly a lot of tension between them and everything in their house in the middle of nowhere. He goes out for a drive, and then she's just standing in the kitchen, and it's dark or whatever, but the lights are on, and behind the kitchen it sort of opens out into the living room, and there's like a darkness in the hallway behind because there's no light on, and a figure steps out of the darkness in the background, and you can't even see it clearly. It's blurry in the image. There's no music change or anything. It doesn't alert you to it. You could watch the scene and just be looking at her head and not even notice it, but you see him standing there, and it is fucking terrifying. And when I first saw that movie in the cinema, like I went back to my flat where I lived by myself, and it wasn't a fucking good night's sleep for me at the time. It's a fucking terrifying movie. It really is. It's just the whole idea of it as well. I think that really adds to the terror. Is kind of going back to what we were saying earlier about how this could happen. Is just they ask them why they're doing it, and one of the killer's answers is because you were home, and that's all it is. It's just pure psychopathy, like, and that's a thing that could legitimately happen in real life. And it was,
I think those type of things, like psychological thrillers, are more terrifying than the ones with like creepy girls that come out of televisions, you know?
Yeah, I think that's just for people like us though. Like, I know so many people who are terrified of just basic shit. Like, they won't put their foot down over the bed in the middle of the night in case something reaches out and grabs it. Like, they're scared of irrational things, but they're aware it's irrational, and I think maybe that idea terrifies them more or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm so scared by things that could happen.
Yeah, exactly. I think if you're of sound Like, if you're logical, perhaps you're more likely to be scared of things that are more likely to happen than, yeah.
Yeah, I think, like, I'm not sure of, like, I can't really visualize the spectrum of it in my head, how it works specifically, but I'm way more scared of things that are...
A weird home invasion movie than you are of,
Yeah.
you know, a demon child.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stupid devil shit. Like, come
Yeah.
on. Like, yeah, if it
Oh,
was
yeah,
the 80s and rampant Satanism was a cultural fucking... What do you call those things where everybody is scared of it? Panic. Moral panic.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
That was Satanism in the 80s. That's why The Exorcist got so many people the way that it did. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
I'm gone.
I was just going to say that they pick something that's in the news and they work it into the story. Like how Godzilla, for example, is a result of fear of nuclear warfare in a sense, because of like Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Like, Godzilla is a Japanese creation, and stuff like that. I'm totally... I don't care. It's more things that I read about killers and stuff in real life that fucking scares me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd always be infinitely more worried about a psycho killing me rather than some doll or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had many moments like where I've had the house to myself, or when I live by myself, where like I hear a door slamming, or I go into my sitting room and the light is on and I swear I turned it off. And like, when I was like younger, that would terrify me. Like, I'd be afraid to even go into the room to turn the light off. I'd just leave it on. But like, as I've gotten older, that doesn't bother me anymore. If I see the light on and I'm sure I turned it off, I just think, oh, I must be wrong. Like, I just completely make it logical enough in my head. Whereas I know people who are my age who are still the way that I was when I was 8. Not that I think I'm better than them. Like, I'm still scared of other
Now
things.
you're better.
Yeah, well, I am better. Like, let's face it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if like I'm really boring and logical towards everything, and that's why it doesn't scare me. I just don't get scared by paranormal stuff.
I think you have to be susceptible and gullible to sort of be scared by them sort of things, I think.
Yeah, I think it's like, if you're an intellectual and you research stuff regularly and you know why something is the way that it is, then you're just aware and prepared for stuff like that.
Yeah, we fuck about a lot and we're immature, but we're all intellectual.
Yeah.
As in, and us three here I'm talking about, including me, you prick. And
no, I actually do think that you're quite
we are all
clever.
intellectuals, so we're not going to be believing that sort of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am wearing a monocle right now. That's how...
I left
There
the
are
top
the-
hat at home, so...
There are, like, The Thing and like Alien and stuff like that are just well-made movies. Like, people regard them as horror movies, but I could watch those movies like all the time. They don't scare me at all. They're just like well-made science fiction movies, essentially.
Yeah, completely. I love that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
One I was going to actually say, that not a lot of people like, I'm kind of alone in this a lot, although I think Jack likes it, is Signs, the M. Night Shyamalan
Yeah, I like
movie.
Signs.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
There's so many scenes in that are, like, at the time I was scared by. Well,
Oh god, the scene with the part is
in Brazil,
is one of the scariest scenes
like,
I've seen.
It's not scary in the jump out of your seat. Well, no, it kind of is, that one, because of how suddenly it is and how well directed it is. But it's more like how real and raw it looks, that you could imagine it legitimately happening.
But it's not scary in the same way that a home invasion movie is scary, is it?
No.
Because you know it's not going to happen, but it's scary because it's well made. And
Yeah, it's scary because it's well made. You empathize with the characters, and you feel like you're there, sort of way.
It's a realistic invasion.
Yeah.
It's a realistic, version of something that is unrealistic.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Equally, I think War of the Worlds, the scene where they're in the basement, Tom Cruise and Dakota Fanning. I don't think that scene was scary or anything, but I really loved the tension in it. It's such a fucking well-made scene.
God, you could just, you can't take your eyes off it kind of thing, is it?
Nah, that scene is so fucking good. It's so intense. I love stuff like that because it's not scary in the jump out your seat way. It's just the way that you empathize with the characters and imagine what you would do in that situation and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think they'll ever make a zombie movie that'll be scary again?
Because
I think zombies. Later. Yeah, but we've had this conversation before.
Yeah,
but like, Like, I think zombies have been toned down, like, to almost pop culture level. That
Zombies are now it's like it's a humour thing now. Zombies, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I watch The Walking Dead now, and it's not scary at all, really. you
No,
know?
the thing about The Walking Dead is that it is a soap opera in a zombie world.
Yeah,
And the things that I love about The Walking Dead never have anything to do with the zombies anymore.
yeah, I agree.
First season is brilliant. They should have just fucking ended it after the first season. In all honesty, I know there's so many unanswered questions or whatever, but it never really got better than that. But the season 5, is that where we're on now?
We are, yeah.
There has been, and I can't really talk about it because of the spoilers, but there is things that people have done in it that I have just like legitimately like been like yes,
Yeah.
and that's nothing to do with zombies either,
It's not, no. But it's more, at the moment, it's more of a psychological look at the way we act as humans, I think, rather than anything
Yeah.
to do with
I agree.
zombies or horror or any of that stuff,
The thing about zombies that not a lot of people kind of really know now is that what year did Night of the Living Dead come out? The original one, was that
Like 73 or something,
no,
was it?
it was well
Or-
before that.
Really?
Yeah, it's black and white. It was like 62, maybe even 58.
Oh, I'm thinking of the original Dawn of the Dead, maybe then.
Yeah,
68.
Night of the Living Dead 68. So that movie is the zombies in that are like a metaphor for social change because the world was changing back then because like you had the Vietnam War and everything that went on in the 60s and like the Russian nuclear missile crisis and the fear of communism and all of that stuff. That's what the zombies are a metaphor for in that. They're like a sort of they're just there to translate this thing that's going on at the time, and people don't really let the message get to them. They just think zombies are cool, and I am the most guilty person for this because I'll watch fucking anything with zombies in it. But the
Yeah.
reason that they're so bad and so bland and they go nowhere now is because they all use the exact same tropes because like George A. Romero has already set the parameters for what a zombie is and you can't really change it. The ones that ran fast, like they were interesting, and the World War Z ones were interesting, but ultimately it's all still the same stuff and nobody's doing anything different with the genre because they're not making some kind of cultural statement or metaphor or anything. They're just making movies to appeal to people like me who just will eat up anything that it has a zombie's name on it. So that's why we're not getting good zombie movies. In fact,
Right.
we're not getting good movies in general right now
No, not really. No.
until Interstellar comes out.
There's
next
no
week.
Independence Day out next year as well.
That's going to be dire though, is the thing.
No, it won't be. It won't be.
Okay.
Alright, Jack.
Is Will Smith in it?
Well,
I don't think so, is he?
no.
He's never in sequels, is he?
No, he doesn't do it.
Apart from Men in Black.
Well.
But and Bad Boys too. Alright. So I don't know, like there's no can you even remember a movie you watched that scared you the way The Strangers scared me?
I can remember a particular scene from the film. Have you ever seen Wreck?
Yes, that's a brilliant movie.
The bit in the loft near the end.
Yeah.
That scared me quite badly.
That whole movie was pretty intense.
It's a pretty good film, that is.
Yeah, the handheld camera thing.
That's the last. Yeah, that's the last sort of scary horror film I actually liked.
For anyone who doesn't know that movie, it's called Rec, R-E-C, and it's Spanish, but it's subtitled in
Yep.
English, and it's well worth the watch. You don't even really need the dialogue, in all honesty.
No, you don't. It's more of a visual thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but if you get motion sickness or whatever, then
Don't watch
it. Yeah, it's handheld. Luce,
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any. I mean, the last movie I was scared at, I don't really know, to be honest. I mean, there's like movies that are thrilling, and you jump out of your seat, but not literally, obviously, where you get sort of like shocked. But I wouldn't say that like I'm genuinely like I'm afraid to go to bed that night because of a movie,
Yeah.
As I've said, I'm not scared of films, but if I turn the lights off downstairs, I run up the stairs on the right hand side, just so if anyone puts his hand through the things, it can't grab me. But that's
And you
kind
do
of
that because why?
just in case.
You can talk to us, Jack.
Yeah, we're here to
I'm
help.
scared. I'm scared.
But
No,
then-
that's more of a.
Do you then rush
more-
up and then lock the door behind you? Or
I
is
don't
the
know.
motion of running up the stairs, you've escaped them, you're fine?
Oh, yeah, I'm well gone now.
Yeah, you've
Yeah,
reached
I've
the top of
escaped.
the stairs, you're clear. Yeah. Alright, okay. Nice.
Yeah, I'm
It's good to
fine.
know that you're a psychopath.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, well, like when I moved out, like when I moved to Scotland when I was younger, living by myself just eradicated all of that nonsense that, like, I used to definitely be affected by stupid stuff like that, but when I lived by myself, it was more like a reality check. You realize that, you know, you're probably not going to be bitten by zombies that night, or Satan's not going to visit you, or whatever.
We're all people who are interested in sort of mortality and that sort of thing, aren't we? Like, quite obsessed with. I'm sort of quite obsessed with what my funeral was going to be like if I died now.
Yeah, I don't really think about it. Like, I have a different mentality because I just don't care. Like, I couldn't give a fuck. Like, you could turn up on my funeral and read out my internet history to my family and I wouldn't give a fuck because I'll be dead. I'm never ever going to be
Yeah, no,
there
but it's the obsession with it is that the being alive and knowing what's happened, not the thought of what your funeral is going to be like because you're not going to feel it.
Is it not like a vanity thing where you want to know?
I suppose it's more it is a validation thing.
Yeah,
I suppose, isn't it? But I don't think it needs to be validated now. But I'd love to see what people's reactions are if I died.
I think if they read out my internet history, there'd be lots of gasps at the funeral.
He said what?
Well, like,
He said
nobody
what?
has a clean internet history. And it's not because we're all, like, disgusting. It's just because you read an article on Wikipedia, you keep on hopping between things, you see something you don't know, you Google it, or, you know, you hear something, you Google it to see if it's true. Like, that's how the internet works.
It's the internet wormhole that you go down of a 2 a.m. on a Tuesday,
Yeah.
and it takes you to the deep dark corners of the internet that you should never go. But yeah.
You look at if someone looked at the web bar or the search bar, whatever it's called, and saw what the actual thing said, you'd think this is mental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's always stuff that you'd hate to have to explain to somebody else.
God, yeah.
And that's why,
Well,
you know, to be a good Halloween costume, dressing up as somebody else's internet history.
Yeah, just a piece of paper
nice.
you printed out.
Yeah,
That is
just
quite horrifying.
There's a good tweet in that. I'm going to tweet that.
For people who are watching now, please refer to Eldon's Twitter for what he just talked about.
Yeah, go to Thursday at about 10 o'clock on my Twitter and go favourite that shit.
I want to see numbers on that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Do we have anything else left to say? I thought we were going to talk about really scary shit, and I wanted this to be a serious episode, and it was, for reasons I never thought it would be. Like, we have discussed the death penalty and euthanasia, and we're...
But it's all relevant, isn't it? It's all
Oh, no, totally, yeah,
F-rated.
no, I loved it. I think it's great. I think people will really like it. I just think it's really bizarre that we did it, like, because...
Should I do some more? Ooh.
Yeah.
What we do if we just record a few of them and just put them at random points.
Yeah, put them in points. Yeah. Make it
Um,
more spooky.
Do you feel up to doing a Dear Jack segment?
I can do it.
Alright, these have been anonymously submitted to me.
Have you already got it up?
Yeah.
Christ, you were prepared.
Okay, so here's the first one. Dear Jack, my alphabety spaghetti is scary because they all just say ooh.
Oh, you're eating spaghetti hoops.
Oh shit, yeah, that is
I
what
nailed
it
it.
is. Good advice. Alright, Dear Jack, my unrealistically attractive school friends and I are staying at an old cabin, but last night I heard screams and now Jennifer is missing. Should we leave? Did I mention a family were murdered in this cabin exactly 30 years ago? Anyway, I love the podcast.
No, what you do is all your group's mates, you just keep walking around the house. Basically, one of you just go missing every sort of 10 minutes or so until there's like 2 of you left or 3 of you left. Right near the end, you think you're safe. One of you will die, but then 2 of you go off into the sunset, and it'll all be good.
That's not advice, though, Jack, is it?
No, that's just talking what's going to happen. I can't help her.
You can't help her. No, fair enough.
Yeah, that's a pretty decent response. Loosemore, do you have one?
No, I'll send them to you.
Okay, then I'll read out this other anonymous thing that I've received. Hi guys, opened my fridge this afternoon to find Zool and the gatekeeper of Gozer sitting in there. He's blocking the access to my leftover Chinese food and I'm craving that sweet and sour chicken. Should I politely ask him to leave or completely ignore him and just order Chinese food again tonight? P.S. I love watch. Haha. Banter.
Oh, that's good. That's a tough one.
Yeah, it's a difficult one.
Just order new Chinese.
It's not worth going in the fridge again, is it?
It's not worth it. No.
Just get the removal people to come in and take the fridge away.
Just sell the fridge and then...
Yeah.
One last one from Anonymous. Dear Jack, and actually,
I like this Anonymous. He's got a lot of problems, this Anonymous person, isn't he?
Everyone in the comment section can answer this as well, and type your answer in the comment section now and just press enter, because the people who come back and start watching it from the start will be like, what the fuck are all these numbers doing here? Because the question is, Dear Jack, how old am I?
Me?
No, the anonymous person wants you to guess how old they are.
44.
You got a bit high there, Jack, haven't you? I think.
Yeah, I have no way of checking because it's anonymous, but...
Oh, so I'm technically right.
Well, technically, there is no answer.
Oh. There is no answer.
That second question reminded me of a horror movie sort of genre in itself that we didn't discuss, and that was like the teen slasher ones that came out in like the 2000s, like Scream and Urban Legend. Yeah, Jeepers. Oh, that was so shit, wasn't it?
That was terrible. The first time I watched it, I liked it because it was just kind of different. But then I watched it again, I was like, this was actually really terrible.
What was the other? Urban Legend was one. I remember that. That was garbage. The Scream movies are really good because they are satirical, and everybody in them was aware that they were in a horror movie, and that's what made them so good. That's like, I never understood when Scary Movie came out and they were parodying Scream. It's like,
because it was a parody.
Yeah, you're parodying satire. Parody. Well fucking done. That's like someone writing a column that's a parody of The Onion. Like, just leave it to the professionals.
Yeah. Like, did you see Cabin in the Woods?
No, that's the one that was Joss Whedon.
Yeah, Joss Whedon wrote it. It's really, really good. It's another satirical horror movie, basically. I mean, it's called fucking Cabin in the Woods, so, you know.
Your man is in it, isn't he? Kim from Home and Away.
Yeah, Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I call him Kim from Home and Away. No, never.
I call him Thor. He doesn't have a real name. Don't know what it is. No idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I might watch that because anything, like, as a rule, if I'm going to watch something, if Joss Whedon's name is on it, I watch it.
It takes a really great turn after about an hour that you don't see coming, and it's fucking great. Yeah.
Speaking of that, have you seen The World's End?
No. The Simon Pegg?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
I thought that movie was brilliant.
I liked it. Yeah, it didn't do a lot like great cinema compared to like the previous two. You know.
No, but I still think it was very good in its own right.
Yeah, I liked it.
I enjoyed
it. Was that in itself was all those movies are, you know, satirical takes on sort of horror or whatever, aren't they?
We should have spoke about Shaun of the Dead, really, given the zombie connection to that. Yeah. But
is this final 10 minutes just going to be what we should have talked about?
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've got nothing else. I don't think.
I didn't have anything to start with.
Thanks, Jack, for turning up. I want to, like, I don't know, make a statement about the future of the Midnight Hour. I don't know when the next episode is going to be, but there will come a point where it'll get back to being a weekly show. So just be patient with me, and that will be that. And so
have a good
big times ahead for the Midnight Hour.
Yeah, you guys don't even know. Like, you want to know, but you don't even know.
You think there's nothing planned, but you don't know.
Yeah, you guys are going to be shocked when you find out what's going to happen. I can't take it anymore. I'm just going to tell them. That's right. We're releasing Midnight Hour coffee mugs. Go to midnighthourcoffeemug.com to claim yours now for a low price of $39.99.
$39.99 for one mug. A handle sold separately.
It's not just a mug. Yeah, handle sold.
We make them ourselves.
Yeah. That's
the point. All proceeds come to us. You know.
All Jack's ones that he made are just a bunch of rocks.
Just rocks are so
Just a brick. It's just a brick.
Actual bricks. And a couple of like matchsticks. And...
Yeah.
Hollowed out bricks.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks.
I was talking to Luce more. You know full well you did nothing.
That's all you got from Lutemore though, was noises.
I know, yeah.
Fuck you, that's been the best part. It's been the Halloween Spectacular episode.
Spectacular.
By the way, to the viewers, the listeners, follow these two people. Their links will be in the description.
That's that brown.
Yeah, if you do, I might start tweeting again.
Yeah, you really need to start tweeting again.
I have to work a lot. It's just tiresome having to get 2 days off on a weekend and cram all your tweets into that block.
Let's rate this episode out of 94. What would you give it?
75.
It's weird. I was thinking 75 as well.
Minus 17.
Controversial.
Ooh.
I'd give it like a 68. I think.
It was good.
I think there were some good moments in there that people will like.
What, like the end?
Yeah. Speaking of the end, goodbye.
Bye. Bye. Stop doing that.